I'm Tyler Webb, and this is my informative speech on tennis. When I tell people that I play tennis, I usually get a very strange look. The majority of people I have met think that tennis is nerdy or wimpy because they think that it's not challenging. I'm here today to tell you the history of tennis. I believe that if people perhaps understood where the sport comes from and understood more about it, that they would have a more positive opinion about it. I also believe that if non-tennis players understood the effects tennis has on the body, then they would respect it that much more. First, it helps to understand when and how tennis originated and how people first played the game and how it transitioned into the sport that it is today. The origin of tennis has been debated for hundreds of years. Some historians believe that ancient Egyptians and Romans played an early adaptation of this sport, but there is no evidence that this is actually true. According to tennistheme.com, historians believe that the sport didn't really start until the 12th century. French monks played a game during this time called palm, which means palm. Players would knock a ball over a net back and forth with their palms, which would look like a very early form of handball. By the 16th century, the popularity of the palm game spread rapidly throughout Europe. It was adopted by the royal families of France and England. The game at this time was called Jeu de Paume, which means game of the palm. The players would play on a small indoor court and were able to hit the ball off of walls to each other. Rackets were finally invented by the Italians in the late 1500s, which took away the use of the palm. The use of the rackets was a major turning point and it spread rapidly. The players would hit a dead ball over a net to each other, which greatly resembled the game of squash. This is when the sport was finally called tennis. Historians refer to this early version of the sport as real tennis. So how do we get this modern game of tennis that we see played today from these early and somewhat different versions? Today's modern game of tennis is based largely on an earlier game called lawn tennis, which was invented by Major Walter Clopton Wingfield in 1873. His game of tennis was largely based off of real tennis. He used much of the French terminology in lawn tennis that was used in real tennis. Wingfield's adaptation of tennis is mostly what modern tennis is modeled after today. The same scoring and terminology is used to this day, such as love, deuce, and the scoring of 15, 30, and 40. 4 years after the modern game of tennis was invented, England had already decided to create a championship for the best tennis players in the world. This championship was called Wimbledon. They created this tournament to raise money for the All England Club. The first ever U.S. National Men's Singles Championship in America was held in 1881 in Newport, Rhode Island. This tournament is now referred to as the U.S. Open in today's modern sport. The U.S. National Women's Singles Championship was first held in 1887. On May 21, 1881, the United States Lawn Tennis Association was formed to standardize the rules and to help organize competitions. This association has since changed its name to the United States Tennis Association, or the USTA. Now that I've told you the history of the sport, I would like to share certain health benefits associated with this sport. Tennis is called the sport for a lifetime according to world-renowned scientists. Not only does the sport have physical benefits that lead to a longer life, but it also promotes a stronger mind and nervous system. According to Bradmins.com, people who play tennis more than 3 hours a week at a moderate intensity are more likely to cut their risk of death in half from any different cause. Playing tennis elevates your heart rate throughout the game and burns extra calories to help you lose weight. Tennis greatly increases your heart rate and keeps it steady enough throughout a match to improve your circulatory health, which lowers your risk for heart disease, heart attack, and stroke. A 160-pound person burns about 220 calories in 30 minutes of singles tennis, enough to potentially shed a pound every other week. Tennis also improves your personal coordination. As your tennis game improves, you will start to see that you have improved balance, speed, flexibility, and physical accuracy. The small and subtle motions used when using a racket also improve your fine motor skills, which are mostly associated with penmanship, video game play, and creating fine art. Tennis players scored higher in vigor, optimism, and self-esteem, while scoring lower in depression, anger, confusion, anxiety, and tension than other athletes and non-athletes. Since tennis requires alertness and tactical thinking, it may generate new connections between nerves and the brain and promote a lifetime of continuing development of the brain. Tennis outperforms most other sports in developing positive personality traits such as boosted confidence. This correlates with improved performance at school, higher college attendance and college graduation. In adults, this confidence can show similar improvement at work and in personal relationships. All of these benefits, combined with the overall enjoyment tennis provides players, makes it one of the most popular upcoming sports there is. In 400 years, tennis has evolved from a simple game played by monks to pass time to one of the most health beneficial sports played in the world. The rules of tennis have changed throughout time, but the same basic elements of athleticism and strategic thinking still remain. From walls to lawns to all different surfaces of courts, tennis continues to thrive and grow in popularity around the world. Other sports may compare in the physical realm of benefits, but only tennis combines muscular strength and mental fortitude together to better compete. This sport is fun, but can also make a person stronger, smarter, and give them a more confident personality all at the same time. So if you're one of the skeptics who have always believed that tennis is a sissy sport, I challenge you to give it a try. Thank you.